Hey everyone, happy holidays. Welcome to the show. Today we talk about setting goals for next year. Yeah, we should already be thinking about what's coming up next and how to prepare for it. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Yes, it's holiday time. I know you see the tree in the background, or if you're listening, you've got decorations up around your house and you're just thinking, we got to make it through to this last week. You're very excited. Christmas is upon us. And what that means for me is actually thinking about what happens after Christmas, what happens as we head towards that new year. It's not too soon to be thinking about how are you going to make those resolutions that help you get through and step up what you're doing next year, your performance in your work, in your life, personally, professionally, with your business. What are you doing to plan for the future? So, what I first want to jump into is the personal side of things. So, the human element, right? That's the physical things, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, professional, your relationships. I know most of us, we think about our physical in terms of your resolutions for next year. You think about how am I going to get into shape or how am I going to take care of my health? Obviously, that's a priority. Yeah, it should be on the list. But there's other things as well that we should go through. So take care of yourself, figure out a way to get through that. But also emotionally, what are you doing to keep yourself focused and happy for the year? Everyone's got their own goals, but think about how you can invest in getting your mindset to a place where you can be productive, where you can be happy, where you can be supportive, and where you could really unleash the power of your potential for the year. For a lot of people, that might just mean really grounding themselves in what is important in their lives and making sure that they are removing stresses and bringing things that provide positivity, bringing relationships, bringing attitudes and mindsets that allow for a positive attitude towards the future. Finding ways to take care of your emotional health is important. So that should be part of your resolution list. Things that keep you growing and excited and passionate in terms of the mental side of things. So what are you doing to grow in terms of what you are learning and what you are being educated on, and how you are challenging yourself to really do things that are different, do things that excite you, do things that you haven't tried before. Make a little bit of a list, because if you have a couple things that you want to try to do next year, try to learn next year, and you write them down, you might actually do them, as opposed to not having anything actually that's concrete that you want to chase. Same thing with the spiritual or the value system. What are things that you want to really impress upon yourself, that you want to hold true to? Do you want to be better at growing your contribution in society, about leaving a legacy, about teaching, about giving back? What are those values that you want to push forth, leaning into that, especially those of you with families? I know every day you're figuring out how to teach your kids those values. So finding a way to bring some of that into your household in a more purposeful way is always a good way to build something into that New Year's resolution. I mentioned professional. Think about your career. Where is it now? Are you happy? And where do you want to be in the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Do you want to have a goal to shoot for in terms of that position or that next job, or even that within the job you are in, how are you making the most of it every day? How are you growing your own skill set within the job, within the career, or what are you doing to just hone those skills that make you valuable regardless of the job that you have? Relationship wise, this is really important. It contributes to all of these factors, I think, because the people you're around every day, I think, affect your physical state, your mental state, your emotional state, and they touch all the buttons. So what are you doing to maintain your relationships? Have you found a way to communicate with the people that are important to you, to strengthen those relationships, to invest in those relationships, to find ways to add value to the people that you are most connected to? Thinking about that again in a purposeful way will actually lead to you having a plan for being mindful about taking action. So those are my human elements of, if you're thinking about 2019 goals, it's the physical, emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the professional, and the relationship. I'd like to take that back a step and jump into those of you that run businesses. How are you also thinking about those key elements in terms of your 2019 goals for your business? The things that are parallels to those items would be, in terms of physical, that'd be your operations for your business. Have you taken a look at, every year you should take a look at, what are the things that are working really well operationally in your business, and what are the things that are slowing things down, could use a restructure, or could use some brainstorming into a better way of doing things. And so that's really looking at your processes top to bottom, from your supply chain to the way the products move from being built to being distributed to your customers, to your customer service, to the way you're representing yourself and your products. So that top to bottom product management, getting that healthy and strong, it means that you have less fires to put out along the way. The second element, we talked about emotional from a human element. Similar to that would be from a emotional state of the business. I think of that as your mission. Are you still on mission with what you set out to be for when you built this business? Are you following the path that you had set forth that align with what you're really trying to accomplish for the year? So think about the mission for the business. Has it changed even? Is it the same place that you'd started? Think a little bit about, has your mission evolved or changed? Have you added some things that you want to accomplish, whether it's a growth goal or a certain way of serving the community and giving back, or a certain way you're presenting your brand? What are the things that you want to change about your business that could really set you up for the future? The next thing is thinking about the mental side of things. What is the strategy for your business? Have you thought about how you are evolving your approach to going to market? That could be your business strategy. That could be your marketing strategy, which is obviously important in my line of work. But basically thinking about, what are the plans that you have in place to meet your goals? So if you have an increased sales goal for the year, what are the things that are going to get you there? Is it changing out your product? Is it finding ways to bundle and sell more? Is it bringing in more new customers with your marketing? Is it changing and adding some new things to your portfolio and talking about that? What's your strategy for the business? The next thing to tune up and have as a 2019 goal for the year is to look at the spiritual for a business is your value systems. So what are the value systems of the business? Do those need to be honed and crafted and improved for the following year? And that's everything around how you treat your customers, how you represent your brand in the community, how you work with your staff to keep them motivated, how to work with your management teams to keep them performing at their highest levels, and how you are developing your brand story and positioning your business overall as a leader, or as what it is you're trying to accomplish for the year. So those value systems that support that mission that you would set. And next would be, again, within the professional side of things, this is, and the relationship side of things, this is your people. What are the people are the core of your organization? What are you doing to make sure you're nurturing their growth, and honestly to account for things that are going to be changing throughout the year? You're going to have turnover. How do you plan for that? How do you make sure that that's something that's continuing to improve in terms of your processes for getting people trained, for hiring better people, and making that process continually better each year, so that it becomes less and less of a budgetary constraint as you move forward with your yearly plans. And then beyond the goal setting for the year, for me, I'd like to say, what are you doing from a marketing standpoint? Because you can go down your marketing path and say, really, we need to do a 2019 goal checklist for all of our marketing programs. The first thing I like to think about is your website. This is one of the hubs of your business online. You have a business that works outside of the online world, but your online brand needs to step it up as well. So how do you turn on that brand, flip that switch so that your marketing programs are working for you? And the first thing is that website. So, do an audit, check out, is it working? Are the actions that you want to be taken on the website, are they happening? Or are you losing people along the way because you haven't followed best practices? Really get an outside perspective or talk to an expert about what are the things that could be done different on your website to really improve the metrics against the goals that you are setting for yourself. A lot of the time, there's some really easy changes that for either for free that you can do yourself, or for a couple $1,000s, you could really ramp up performance and change one of these main lead driving tools to your business. The second piece that I would say is, what are you doing with your search? What are your goals for the search engine optimization and marketing that's happening for your website? In other words, how are you being found on Google? Is it working? Are all the things you're doing with your website and with the content you're creating helping drive people being able to find you on search? Are you ranking at the top? Are you paying for additional placement in those paid search results? Have you registered your Google My Business so that you're being found on map searches? If you're a local business, Google Map searches are where it's at. That's where people are actually looking for businesses like yours. And if you haven't registered it correctly and aren't being found on the map with a proper profile and pictures and times of day that you're open and a phone number, you're going to be missed, because a lot of the time they may not get past the search result. They may find you, find the information they want right there in the search listing, and go to your store, and they may not want to take that extra step. So having all that audited for your search and making sure you're doing those right steps is a good goal to have for 2019. Another thing to make sure you're checking out for 2019 is your listings. How are you showing up when people are looking for businesses like yours? Are you at the top because of the search listings we just talked about? Are you showing up on sites where people look for businesses like yours, the listing services, the Yelps of the world, or if you're a service industry, the care.coms, or whatever it is that people go to find your types of business? Are you listed there properly with an updated profile, updated service listings, with the best practices on driving leads to your website? Social media profiles. 2019, by 2019, you should have your social media profiles updated across multiple platforms. I'm not even talking about advanced into ads at this point. I'm saying, have you checked the box? Your 2019 goal for getting your profile built correctly, as if it's a second or third website, is important. So audit your social media profiles. How are you showing up on Facebook? Do you have the correct picture in your masthead? Are you describing your business correctly in the profile? Are you putting out content that matters? Are your services listed in a way that makes sense, that are engaging people? Are people finding your social profile and using it and generating reviews for your business? Think about all the ways that you could update that profile to be current. And then we can talk about a content marketing plan for your business. But start with, is that profile, when people get there, is it telling the story you want it to tell? And that's on Facebook, on Instagram. Does that feed show pictures of your business, of the people in the business, of the experience and what it's like when they get there, and how to find your business easily if they want to take advantage of your service or your product or show up to your store? Do they have the information they need to get there? And do they know, based on what they're seeing right away, what it's going to be like when they get there? And can they get more information if they want more detailed information? So that's Facebook, that's Instagram, your LinkedIn profiles. So many people are neglecting their LinkedIn these days. And that surprises me. It's been a professional resource for resumes, yes, but it is now a full-blown social media content platform. Your main staff at least, but especially if you're the business owner and you are a manager in a business, those profiles should be updated so that people who want to work with you can find you and network you. Especially if you're a word of mouth business, LinkedIn's important, because the business card only goes so far. A lot of people are just going to search for you on LinkedIn and see if they can connect and see what your reputation is like on LinkedIn. And if all they find is a little bit of a history it's basically a downplayed resume on LinkedIn, that's not going to work. If you have a business where your work matters and your reputation matters, they should be seeing some of that proof online, whether it's a testimonial or your content or your articles or your posts or something. You have to have some kind of content that supports your reputation on LinkedIn. Don't neglect that piece of it. The next, obviously, within social, there's a lot of sites. But if you could touch those, get a Twitter profile up. And if you haven't managed all these, that's fine, but at least have the profile built with the basic information of your business so that it's wherever the customer is going, you are findable. That's the main thing. And if you have a review site like a Yelp that's important for your type of business, make sure the same thing there. You're managing the pictures, the post, the business description, the hours, the phone numbers, all the things that are like pseudo websites where the people are actually spending their time before they get to a website like yours. 2019 goals, refresh those profiles, make them true to your business for the year, and do it every year. I would say do it less than that if you can, but at least once a year. That's how you take care of your business, setting up those profiles to be current to what you are. And that's updating the pictures too. You have to have new pictures of your restaurant, of your team, of your staff, so that people know who they're working with and it feels current and relevant to the work you're doing today. Content marketing, I've mentioned it a little bit, but basically, are you building content out that supports your business? Are you telling your story? Are you sharing the reviews of your business? Are you supporting the industry? Are you educating on why people need your service in the first place and why your place is the place to get that? Are you helping people find what they need before they get there? If you can provide value before they even consider your service, you're halfway there. So find ways to provide value through content. If you can't do it yourself, hire someone to do it. It's not that expensive to hire someone to write a few articles a month or even once a month to get you started. Or write a few articles that you can post from the beginning and just have sitting there on your website so that it's when they at least go look for you for the first time, there's something there that supports what you're saying you do. So refresh that 2019 goal, invest in content marketing, and test new things. Part of your goals for 2019 should be to try new things. If some of these things that I've already mentioned are new to you, do those. But if there's other things you haven't tried, how are you going to know that it isn't working? If you have something, so many marketers that look back, that I talk to that are looking back at what they've currently done and say, it's not broken, why fix it? But what they don't know is if they compared what they're spending now and the ROI on that to something new and the ROI of that, they could be spending a third of what they're spending with the same effectiveness. If you're still looking at some old school marketing techniques, if you're still relying on a yellow pages or a print ad in the newspaper or something that's outside of the realm of what's happening right now, you should be trying something new. You might be saving money because these old media types, yes, they still work, but they might not be priced as effectively as some of the digital items that could really be turning your business over at a much higher rate. So if you aren't going to be upping your budget for the year, you got to find ways to make those dollars work harder for you. And a lot of that might be trying out some of these new media that really have proven to drive business. And that's, yes, in-store traffic too. Moving from online into physical store isn't a theory. That's actually happening every day, and it's not new. This has been happening for a long time now. So if you haven't done it already, that should be your resolution, to bring your brand online. Flip that switch, move from being a business that is in the real world to being a brand that lives online, that supports that business in the real world. And if you don't have ad spend for the year, now's the time to try it. Pick 1 month and say, I'm going to invest in advertising for 1 month against my business. Start with the basic elements. That's Facebook ads. That's your Google search ads. And if you can afford a little bit of Instagram as part of your Facebook program, sure, do that too if that's a business that makes sense for that platform. Start there, Google, Facebook, and you should have enough to get going and learn something about your business. And a lot of people don't know what to start with. If you're a relatively decent sized business, start with $1,000. If you can double that, go for it. If you're looking for an actual percentage because you don't know how to scale it to the size of your business, if you look at your revenues for a month, look at 3% of that total revenue number and say, this is the number I'm going to start with. Adjust it down or up if it feels high or low, and go with that and see, again, just for 1 month of revenue. So you're not talking about your whole year's worth of marketing budget. You said for 1 month, let's find something we can test and try and put money towards advertising. And it's not going to be perfect at first. People don't realize it doesn't work as well the first time you try it. But if you keep on going and you start a consistent marketing program, what you learn every month improves the return on that investment, because you are learning the better copy, the better images at work, the better times of day for your specific business, the right messaging for your customers and the different segments of your customers that all respond differently to different types of messages. You're learning that, and you're establishing benchmarks along the way. You're finding out, oh, this really worked well for this time of day, so now I'm going to try this, and now I know something to compare it to. Is this good or bad? Well, compared to the last thing, this is twice as good. Well, let's do something more like this now. Those benchmarks are important, and starting that learning process is important. And you don't know until you're actually doing it. So that's the best thing about marketing, is each dollar you put in does have an ROI. It's not going to be zero unless you're doing something that's completely off the rock, or different targets, different part of the market, which makes no sense. But if you have someone helping you with your strategy, that shouldn't happen, because you're starting with low-hanging fruit. You're starting with the people that are around your business or are the most passionate about the kind of thing that you sell. You start with those people, it's going to have ROI. It may not be 1-to-1 ratio, but sometimes it is. And a lot of the times, the majority of the time, it's actually overshooting that. And you're talking, $1, $2, $3 return on your investment. And it's going to keep getting better over time. So start now. Put something in that you can afford for 1 month and learn something. And then you'll be a little bit more comfortable and confident moving forward. And maybe you'll know the right questions to ask and who to seek out help from. Maybe you need help from someone that works just on search marketing to help you with that. Or you need someone that specializes in Facebook ads or copywriting to help you with that. Or you need someone to really help you figure out your priorities. Talk to a brand strategist, a consultant, someone that has lived in marketing and done more than one thing, to help you come up with a plan and then execute it on your own, or use your staff to do it. But don't tell us at the time, it's too hard for you to find time, because that's not a good excuse. It's not going to help you with your business. You have to find time either to do it yourself or delegate to someone on your team to take the steps to move it forward. And you can be the key check-in for those things, but don't be the bottleneck. Be someone that encourages and gives people the tools they need to move your business forward. And beyond that, just keep thinking about how you can invest in yourself and in your company to keep progressing towards your goals. Beyond that, I think that's a lot for one set of goals. But beyond that, make sure you're doing all the things that you're passionate about, because at the end of the day, if you're passionate about what you're doing and you're happy, all that comes through and you're excited. So get rid of the stuff that's on your plate that you aren't excited about. Find ways to delegate and pass that stuff on, and then you'll have all that energy that you need to accomplish goals like this for the year. But you have to write them down. It might seem exhaustive, but start one by one with the things that are important and check those off of the list, and get help. That's always a good way to keep moving and to actually make progress, is to realize and admit that you might need help with some of these things. So hopefully that helps. 2019, I'm excited about it. Have a lot of goals that I've been working through myself, building my company, my brand. I hope you're doing the same, and investing in yourself and in your company, and looking forward to next year and how to make it better and bigger and one of your best years ever. Thanks for listening.